Hi everyone, welcome back to Zesty Thoughts with your host Anabla. Welcome to episode 88. I hope you all have had a fantastic week. I've had a very fun week myself. First little recap for the week. I went to the Sphere this week in Vegas. I saw No Doubt. It was such a fun show. The Sphere is like really, really trippy, y'all. It was really, really cool. I highly recommend if you want to see any of the people playing. They're also doing like Wizard of Oz there right now, but I'd highly recommend it. It's a sick venue. It's also like brand new, so like sound is really good there. I do have like pretty gnarly pet peeves regarding like sound at large music venues. 9 times out of 10, it's just not good in my opinion. I don't know what it is. You can never hear the vocals. I literally have to wear earplugs in to like hear individual instruments. It's always really muddy and just like not clear. And in my opinion, the engineer ate down. So I thought it was a really fun show. There was also like a No Doubt experience slash merch slash like photo op type shit at the Venetian, which is right next to the Sphere. That was really cool. That's actually open to the public. So if you're like in Vegas, you happen to be in Vegas and you're there while they're at the Sphere, if they're like a little mini residency, I'd highly recommend checking that out. There's like a lot of cool artifacts from like the beginning of their career, and it's just really cool. It's a cool like throwback 90s 2000s type vibe, and it's cool. Nice vibe, little bar there, just good vibes all around. So yeah, and yeah, the show is amazing. 10 out of 10. I loved it, and I will definitely go back to the Sphere, not only because of the visuals, which is like obviously the selling point. That's like the whole point people would go there, but also like for a large cap venue, sound was really good, and I have gripes with that regarding large venues. So highly recommend. So yeah, that was super fun. We did like a road trip to Vegas, which by the end of the road trip, we all kind of regretted. I mean, I was driving. I have a hybrid, so I was like, I'll drive. I have better gas mileage, y'all. And yeah, we left at like the crack of dawn on Saturday and it was really quick getting there. That was like easy peasy. The ride back, however, was grueling to say the least. I mean, we were all just super hydrated apparently, and we had to stop to pee like every hour basically. It literally took us like a good 5 hours to get back, maybe more than that, 5.5, because of all the stops. And there was just a lot of traffic, a lot of really dumb drivers just like coasting at a slow speed or like at the speed limit in the passing lane, which is like, okay, I get we don't have these like passing lane type things in LA because it's all just like a mod podge of like different speeds, at least in LA, right? But like when it comes to road trips, y'all, I don't know how it is that message has just been like completely missed by like most California drivers, but like the left lane like should not be like a driving lane. Like people shouldn't be driving in that lane. I mean, unless you're going like well over the speed limit, right? 10, 20 miles an hour over the speed limit type shit. But like every other lane, I also feel like low-key, hot take, I feel like on highways like that, each lane should have a specific like speed. Like if you're a truck, right lane only, and you can't pass in the middle lanes. Like stay in the fucking right lane. Sorry, if there's a truck in front of you that's going slow, you're going slow. Sorry, you can't pass, because there were all these trucks that were like trying to pass trucks in the right lane that were going slow, and they would go into like the middle lane or the left lane, and then like they were going significantly slower than the speed of traffic. And it's just like, that's not how that works, and that creates traffic and just fucks everybody's shit up. So yeah, I think that highways like that, like long stretches of highways, there should be speed like ranges for each lane. Like far right lane is like 60 and under, because I think the speed limit out there is like 70. So like far right lane is 60 and under. Middle lane is like 60 to 70, right? Far left lane is upwards of that. Or maybe like the middle lane should be like 65 to 70. Yeah, low-key right lane should be 65 and under. And then middle lane should be 65 to 70 if there is a middle lane, right? And then left lane should just only be passing. Like you shouldn't like drive in that lane unless you're going like, unless you're speeding, right? Unless you're speeding. That's my hot take. I think a lot of like highways should have things like that. It would make it a lot more efficient for everybody. But either way, it was like a nice drive. I personally like driving to Vegas at night because the stars, like the view, I feel like it's just like prettier. Whereas like during the day, it's just like desert. And it's not the most like beautiful desert, if that makes sense. I don't mean to like take it for granted. For some people, that's a really nice view. But in my opinion, it's just mid. Like, I feel like driving to Palm Springs is like better views. Actually, no. It's kind of similar. I take that back. Now that I like picture it in my brain, no, it's the same shit. But either way, it was a nice little road trip vibe. It did give me the opportunity to listen to a lot of new music. I listened to Brent Faiyaz's album that he released in February, called Icon. I'm late on this album, but I finally listened to all of it. There are 10 tracks and I saved 6. My favorites are Butterflies, Have To, and World Is Yours. I think Have To is my favorite. I love it. I love it. I just love the message of it. It's giving king energy if you pick up what I'm putting down. But I highly recommend it. Brent Faiyaz's Icon album. It's R&B and soul category. I love his voice. He's also one of those singers that like I can tell they don't like heavily tune his vocals. And I like it. Like it's satisfying to me. For some singers, it's like not the vibe, but I love that niche about his like discography that like pretty much all of his recorded music is like not heavily tuned. And so I feel like it's a little bit nostalgic in that way. It feels a little bit more like raw and like authentic, and I kind of live for it. Not that they don't tune it at all, but like there are just some like notes where I'm like, oh, it's like a little off, and I don't hate it. Like I'm not mad at it. And so I kind of respect him as an artist for that reason, because I feel like it's just a little more real. And it's like everybody has those moments of like pitchiness. Everything nowadays in recorded music is so like calculated and edited. Even live music, like not even just recorded music, live music now is heavily edited, and it's like fine. Everybody has those days. And I understand like as a singer, especially if you're like in the public eye, you have this like reputation to uphold and you don't want people talking shit on you, and you are constantly inundated with other people's opinions about you, especially if you're like a celebrity. So I would understand being like insecure and like not wanting to be off and wanting to use tuning live, or even if you're just like having an off day, you know, if you're sick or something and you feel like your voice is unpredictable, I see why you would want to like rely on that, because no singer is like robotic and perfect. That's just like not physically possible. But anyway, long story short, I definitely recommend this album. It came out February 13th, so it's kind of giving like Valentine's vibes. There's a lot of like love songs. I also saved 4 Seasons, Pure Fantasy, and Other Side. Those are the other tracks that I really liked, but Have To is my favorite. King shit. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I finished The Testaments season 1. Freaking insane. If you're not on the Handmaid's Tale train, like watch Handmaid's Tale first, because it's like actually so good and fucked at the same time. But I highly recommend y'all watch that first. And like probably there's gonna be little spoilers for Handmaid's Tale and The Testaments. So if you haven't watched like either, skip to 12 minutes and 50 seconds to avoid spoilers. This show is like, honestly, even just Handmaid's Tale, like in general, but like both of these shows combined, and just like the story in general is like so, it's just like pure rage bait in my opinion. I am like a huge advocate for women's rights and feminism, because women in some parts of the world have it better, and women in other parts of the world have it like not good at all. So I'm a big proponent of like fighting that fight until every woman, or at least like women in different societies across the world, can be liberated, right? Fuck the patriarchy. So this show is like crazy to me. It like makes me very like emotional, honestly, when I watch it. It's like, it's a lot to take in. But The Testaments is such a good extension of Handmaid's Tale. I haven't read any of the books, so maybe there's like things that y'all that have read the books you're put on to that I don't know. I'm going into all of this stuff blind, but it makes me want to read the books. So like maybe Zesty's book club, Handmaid's Tale books will be coming. But yeah, it's just so crazy seeing Hannah within the context of like Gilead, and like getting a deep dive on her experience and what it's like for her. It's actually so insane seeing also like the qualities of her, or at least the hints of like the qualities of her that she gets from June. It's like, It's like actually so crazy. And then toward the end of season 1, huge spoiler, when June like finds out that Daisy is like friends with Hannah, is just freaking nuts. And then Hannah like having this like intense realization that like she has this like past and all this like trauma, and just it's just so freaking nuts. The acting is like actually ridiculous. Like, coming from The Handmaid's Tale, where like the acting was so nuanced and just like detailed and like so freaking real. Elizabeth Moss is like ridiculous. I am so freaking impressed by Chase Infinity. She is like an otherworldly actress. Like, I just feel like there are some people in acting that just like maybe this is kind of a hot take, they just kind of skate by and just like are their role and they just kind of do what they have to do. And then there are some actors that you watch and you're just like, oh shit, and it makes you feel what they're feeling, like, and it pulls you in this weird sort of way that's like that like you can't resist. And when I watch her act, it's so nuanced and detailed, and like every part of her like body is like in the scene, every inch and like millimeter of her face is in the scene, and it's just very it's just very captivating. So she is doing such an amazing job playing Hannah. I keep saying Hannah because like I rebuke Agnes, like I don't, that's not her name, sorry. I reject I reject the name that she was given by Gilead. Like, I don't fuck with that. I will stay calling her Hannah. Sorry. Lucy Halliday is also insane. I love her character. Daisy is just like, I'm obsessed. It's like Handmaid's Tale. We had June to like live vicariously through and like root for. And now with the Testaments, we have 2 leads that are just so incredibly strong in Hannah and Daisy. And it's just so freaking satisfying. Also, I'm scared. I cannot believe that Becca killed her dad. I mean, that's insane. The lore behind that is insane. And then like, why did her and Hannah kiss? Is Hannah bi? Like, what's going on? I'm actually like, what's going on? And I'm pissed that I have to wait for season 2 because there's all these like unanswered things that are like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? So yeah, I mean, if you watch Handmaid's Tale and you haven't started the Testaments yet, like, do it now. You're gonna freak out. It's so freaking good. It's like insanely good quality spinoff. That's all I have to say about that. End of spoilers, y'all. All right, y'all, I have to admit, I've been slacking a little bit. I did say I was gonna do like a sci-fi movie a day marathon. That's not on the card, so I'm just gonna review a famous sci-fi film per week. If I can fit in more than one, I will, but these fuckers are long. Okay, I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey. That shit took me like 2 days to watch because of everything else that's on my schedule. I'm still doing 75 hard. We're in the home stretch, y'all. I will be done like the 3rd weekend of June, so like so close. But I'm doing that. I am working on a song, obviously pod editing and everything. It's just like not in the cards. I can't be like watching a movie every single day. Just not possible with my schedule. But I did watch one this week, a hefty one. Like I said, I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey. And it's actually insane. I never watched it before. It's funny, I took like a music and film course in university, and one of the scenes that we analyzed in that class was like that beginning scene where they like throw the bone. The apes are like throwing the bone up in the air. We analyzed that scene and the music in that scene, but I had never like watched this movie from start to finish, and it's freaking insane. I actually love it. It's so impressive what they were able to do technologically, because this came out in 68, which means they were working on this like in the mid 60s. That's crazy, actually. And it's so cool to me, like, to see how it inspired like things like Star Wars and other like space sci-fi films that were made after. It's just so crazy. First comment, the set design and the interior design in this fucking movie goes so incredibly hard. The first scene where there's like an interview happening in the space station and there's like these red chairs, I was like, I want my house to look like that. Like, what is going on? It's like this mid-century modern space, like retro combo like design. And it's so satisfying. Like, I literally loved it. And basically now I'm going to make a Pinterest board with like pictures from this show. Sorry, audio listeners, but I'll put one here on the screen so y'all can get the gist of it. But like, I want to make a Pinterest board now with like screen grabs from this film because the set design is just so ridiculous. It goes so insanely hard. It's also giving like the Jetsons, but like a little classier. It's just like, oh, I love it. I want my house to look like that. I want my house to look like that, basically. So, and also like, I was like writing notes while I was watching the movie. I wrote, not the apes discovering violent weapons. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's like the first scene of the film, basically. That's like within like the first like 10 or 15 minutes of this film. It's just like an overarching theme of like human evolution. And of course they had to start with violence, right? Of course they had to start with violence. The ending did confuse me a little bit. I had to like watch it twice to really like pick up on what was happening. But it's really good. The scene when he's like turning off the computer, like killing the computer, basically shutting it down. And the computer's like, I'm afraid. I was like, what the fuck? That was like a massive turn. The computer just like completely took a turn for the worst. I feel like that's just like everyone's fear with AI now, basically. So this was very ahead of its time because everyone now is like, I'm scared. Like we're scared because AI is scary. Computers are scary, you guys. Technology can be a lot. So very much ahead of its time. And I highly recommend y'all peep it. I see why it won the Academy Award for like special effects, I think, and I feel like it should have won more because I feel like it's just so well done. Although I don't know off the top of my head like that year what it was up against. So it is what it is. But it was really, really, really brilliant and I love it. And if you've not seen it, I highly recommend you dive into it. Last segment of today's pod, I am getting a little bit irritated, like starting to get on my nerves. All of the like low-key, I feel like it's like China, like propaganda content that I'm seeing, like people like promoting China on TikTok. Yeah, that's weird. Just like the way that it's presented is weird. But like the high-speed rail, the public transportation, I'm getting so fed up with it being rubbed in my face, actually. Like it's actually so annoying. I yearn for public transportation. I yearn for efficient, safe, clean public transportation, right? Because like we have public transportation here, but clean, nope, can't check that off. Safe, can't check that off. Reliable, on time, timely, can't really check that off either. I mean, we're inching our way toward it slowly but surely, but I'm actually just so annoyed that we can't have that. I guess that's just like a complaint that I have. I'm just tired of it being rubbed in my face. Like actually, I'm like, okay. I yearn for public transportation. People yearn for public transportation. And I don't think that the government gets it. I don't think they get it. I really don't. But that's a whole other topic for another pod, y'all. To cap off today's episode, we are almost at 10,000 subs. I actually can't believe it. We're at like 9,007 something. So please, if you are watching, please subscribe if you enjoy just like the gab fest that this is and just like the smorgasbord of shit that this podcast is. Please subscribe, please like. I have an emoji of the week for every single episode. This week, it's going to be like the little spaceship emoji. I always put it in the pod description. So please drop the emoji of the week, show some love to the pod and help us reach 10K subs. I actually can't believe it. I do have some podcasts lined up for y'all in the coming months. The first half of 2026, I can't believe I can say that. The first half, like we're halfway through the year almost. That's crazy. The first half of this year has been actually so incredibly insane. And 75 Hard's been great, but I do feel like it's like derailed a lot of like other things because I'm spending so much time working out. But it's good. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling strong. All that to say, I have plans, y'all. Do not fret. Zesty has things in the works. So please stick around and sub. I love y'all so much. I hope that you have a fantastic week. Have a fun weekend. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.